Positive energy all the time. Good to see you all. Hope you all doing great. Have a very interesting conversation for all of you out there. You know, health is wealth, so you want to always take care of yourself. Late night for all of the people, the plant-based vegan crowd out there. Big up yourself. To all the brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, ITAL is vital. So much respect to all of y'all. We're going to get into it. We are going to get into this conversation. For sure. How are you all doing? I hope you all are doing great. Good to see you, more power, Hawkeye, the great Ross, Rosterman, Danielle, G-Ra. Good to see you all. Got some very important information to cover, to talk about. When it comes to health and when it comes to eating right, there has been some situations. One of the most important things you have to do if you go plant-based is you really have to make sure that you are consuming a lot of variety. And no matter what you're eating, you have to do research on what you are eating. That's very important for you to do the research. Because if you don't really do some research, you'll have a tendency to not really be taking care of yourself as well as you might think. And this is not just for your health. This is for your property. You know, if you buy a home, you know, you really need to do some research on home care because there might just be certain things that you need to do with your home and you're not doing it. Right? And so, you know, our bodies don't come with a manual. A lot of parents, I know you can relate with that. You have babies, you have children, but there's no parent manual. So you kind of just out there trying to figure out how to raise your babies the best you can. Good to see you, Space Time. Because there's no manual that comes with it. A car is the same way. There's just certain things, you know, you have to figure out about your car if you get a car so that you will be best suited to take care of that car. Because it's not like that car is just going to, you know, take care of itself, and it's not like you really know what you're doing. You know, even if it's a brand new car, there's little tricks to all the trades out here and different things you're doing. So imagine your body. And the Board of Education and the school system, they don't do a good job when it comes to health in our bodies. I find that health is not respected in the United States. I think the United States is going to have serious health problems on a widespread level because the lack of education concerning health. It's to me, the country is not doing a good job when it comes to health, especially mental health. And I've been saying this, and I might have to do a live on this. America needs a department of psychology and psychiatry because we're not doing a good job when it comes to mental health. And mental health is causing us all types of problems, domestic problems in the home, and crime. A lot of money is being misallocated and misused because we ain't taking that serious. So physical health is the same way. Now, a lot of people know I promote a plant-based way of living, and you have plant-based is a term meaning that we eat plant foods. We eat foods that grow, right? And veganism basically doesn't explain what we eat. The word vegan explains what we don't eat. So plant based describes what you do eat and how it is, and vegan describes what you don't eat. So vegan only means no animal byproducts and no dairy, no animal byproducts at all. So when people say, what about fish? Fish is considered an animal byproduct. So no type of creatures that include bugs, spiders, or anything. But it's different than plant based because plant based supposedly it's supposed to mean that you eat whole foods, but I think you would have to say whole food plant based because if I make a burger and it's a processed vegan burger and I use plant material to make it, technically that's plant based. So they're still working on that. But for those that don't know, ital is a Caribbean term, and ital means whole foods straight out the ground. So ital is something Rastas use a lot, and ital represents eating whole foods. And a new study just came out and is finding out that a lot of people, and especially here in America, have a shortage in iron. Yes, a lot of people in America have a shortage of iron. They found that the meat eaters is like around, I think, 9%, and the plant based vegans are around maybe 13%. So the vegans are a little bit slightly more of them that have an iron deficiency than the meat eaters. But they both do have uh, a deficiency. So I wanted to talk about that because that's a serious situation that you always have to check for. Iron is one of the more difficult things to really pay attention to, that you should be consuming. Okay? Iron. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to break that all down. We're going to get into that in detail because a lot of people don't know this. And you might have some iron deficiency yourself, regardless of whether you're a vegan or not. Okay? You might have some bit of a deficiency. All right? So this is very important to know about that and to be conscious of that. Right? You want to make sure that you are getting enough iron. Right? And just because you're eating foods that contain iron, that's not going to necessarily mean you're getting enough. And I know you say, what you mean? Like, this is a fact. This is a fact. That just because you're consuming iron, it doesn't mean you're necessarily getting enough. And I guess you say, dang, are you serious, Pharaoh? I'm absolutely 100% serious. Of course, some people wouldn't want to discuss that. But if you're going to try to help people to eat right and to take care of themselves, you need to be able to tell people the facts about what that is like and what they would have to do in order to be as healthy as they possibly can. So there's no shame in being a vegan and saying that some vegans are not getting enough iron. Okay? The iron intake is low. The iron intake is low. So we got to do something about that. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to break that all down for everybody so that you know the facts and you'll be able to avoid uh, that problem yourself. And it's not hard to avoid it, but most of the times people don't know, right? Exactly. Because you need the vitamin C to properly transport and absorb the iron into your body. G-Rod's on top of it. He's on top of the business. He knows the business. Thank you, G-Rod, for letting them know that, because that is very, very important. One of the reasons you don't have enough iron is exactly what G-Rod said. It's because you do not have enough vitamin C in order to transport that iron into the bloodstream, to get it into the body. And if without that vitamin C, then you're not going to absorb the iron. And then you're going to have some deficiency. Yes, indeed. This is a fact. And this is an absolute fact that you're going to have the right amount of vitamin C into your body in order for your body to be able to deal with the iron. Okay. And I felt like this was very important to tell you all this. This is very important. This is important whether you plant-based or not. This is very important. Now, if you consume marijuana will strip iron and vitamin C out of your body. Okay? This is a fact. It will strip the vitamin C and the iron out of your body. Okay? So that's something you need to know if you smoke. If you smoke, period, whether it's marijuana or tobacco or any other thing you're smoking, just know that smoking will strip your body of vitamin C and iron. And once it strips your body of the vitamin C, automatically it's going to strip your body of the iron. No, that was great. I have no problem with that at all, G-Rod. Any of you all know where I'm going and know what I'm saying? One thing is this, G-Rod. You can never be too early, or you can never help too much, G-Rod. So anytime I'm talking about this and I'm saying, I'm going to tell you what you need for zinc, and you think you know the answer, please say it. Because it's not like a mystery story or nothing like that. So that was perfect, G-Rod, because that shows them the facts. You know what I'm saying? So I had no problem with that at all, because the object is to just help them. So the object is not for me to, like no big mystery story or anything like that. So that was absolutely perfect. Now, one of the problems, if you don't get enough iron, you will be anemic. And when you're anemic, you'll be a little fatigued. You'll have low energy. You might have a slightly increased heart rate. You might have a shortness of breath, headaches, dizziness. But a lot of times, if you're anemic, you won't have any of that. You won't have any of that. What you might have, though, is you might have skin blotches. You might have, like, if you're black, you might see it too. You might have skin blotches. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, right? You might have skin blotches. All right? Seriously. This is a serious conversation, you all. This is very serious. Right? So, anemia is a condition where the body does not have enough healthy red blood cells or hemoglobin, the protein in red blood cells that carry oxygen throughout the body. Anemia can be caused by various factors, including iron deficiency, a vitamin B12 deficiency, folic acid deficiency, chronic diseases like kidney diseases and cancer, a bone marrow disorder, blood loss. Certain medications can cause it. And the common symptoms of anemia include fatigue, shortness of breath, paleness. This is where you might get skin blotches, paleness, dizziness, headaches, cold hands and feet. If your hands are cold a lot, that's your blood, okay? Rapid or irregular heartbeat, right? Anemia is diagnosed through a blood test that measures the level of red blood cells and hemoglobin. Treatment: iron supplements, vitamin B12 or folic supplements, sometimes medications to treat chronic disease and bone marrow disorder. And sometimes it's so bad you need a blood transfusion, right? So they said to prevent anemia, you got to consume a balanced diet rich in iron, vitamin B12, and folate. Avoid excessive blood loss, right? They tell you make sure you take prescribed medications as directed if you went to the doctor and get a regular medical checkup. Okay? This is very important, you all. Health is everything. And I don't want to encourage you to go vegan and go plant based and then you have to do it and then you don't feel well. So always get you a plant based uh, vitamin supplement. Okay? Always, always take a plant based multiple vitamin. Okay? This is very, 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 very important. Very important. Okay? Look around, get one of your choice, one of the ones you think is the best for you. Do your research and make sure it's vegan, make sure it's plant based. You have to be very careful with vitamins, right? Because the thing about vitamins is some vitamins are made from the actual minerals from the ground, and your body can't really process those minerals from the ground. Okay? So your body cannot process those minerals from the ground that well, especially iron. And so my advice would be to get a plant-based iron that's easier to digest. I remember as a child, I had anemia once. My mother took me to the doctor, and the doctor said I was anemic. And the doctor put me on some iron supplements, but the iron supplements made it hard for me to use the restroom because it made everything too hard. All right, so I couldn't get the waste out. The waste became too hard, right? So, just my advice, and this is not from a doctor, this is just advice. This is not what you absolutely have to do. I have to be careful with that here on YouTube. But my advice would be to get a plant based vitamins all the time, something, especially for your children too, something that your children would be able to digest, right? Because you got to remember, right, that the earth was made in a way where the trees are down in the ground and the roots are in the ground and the fruit and the plants all grow out the ground, right? And it rains or you water, but mostly it rains and the plants take that water from the ground. But when a tree is in the ground or a plant is in the ground, the plant is in the dirt. And so the dirt is full of minerals because the dirt is a compost from all of the plants. So when it rains, the rain is basically feeding the plants, but it's really making a tea because the plants are in dirt. So when you water your plants so it rains, it's making a mineral tea. So when the plants drink that mud water, that's where the nutrients are at, and it goes into the tree. So even if you got a garden, right, you're going to what? You're going to feed the plants. You're going to put vitamins and nutrients on the plants. Plant food. Plant food is basically vitamins and minerals. And how does the plant eat? Because those vitamins and minerals mix with the water. And so when the plants drink the water, the plants are drinking mineral water, vitamin water. And then these plants take that nutrients, and that's how the stalk grows. That's how the trunk of the tree grows. That's how the branches grow. That's how the leaves grow. And that's how the watermelons grow, or the peaches, or the plums. So then the plant puts those nutrients into the food. And then when it's ready, it drops the food for you to eat it So it's a processed form of vitamins and minerals. And so my advice would be that I learned from the African Hebrew Israelites, the best way to make sure you get enough iron is to use black strap molasses. You can get the original one or you can get the robust. I get the robust because it's stronger. And for your children, all you have to do is just put a little bit of this in the juice. They won't know it's in there. So let's say you get a thing of orange juice. Just take a little bit and put it in the juice. They won't know it's in there. If you put too much, they'll taste it. But if you don't put too much and you put it in the juice and you shake it up, that'll add some iron to their juice. And by putting a little bit, it won't be enough to make them constipated or anything like that. Now, if you're an adult, you want to take an eighth of a teaspoon, a half, and put it in a blender full of, a full blender, and blend up whatever you're blending up to drink and put, you can put an eighth of a teaspoon. You can put a whole teaspoon. But only do it once, like every 3 days. Because if you do it every day, it'll create constipation. But if you do it once every 3 days, it will give you just enough, it will give you plenty of iron, and that will help your situation. Now, what I use to protect myself against all deficiencies is I take Garden Life Men's Multiple. You know what I'm saying? I take Garden Life Men's Multiple. You know what I'm saying? And my advice, if you buy Garden Life, my advice would be to get the plus 40. That would be my advice. This is the regular one. But my advice would be, even if you're young, my personal advice would be to get the plus 40. Because I was in there and I seen the regular one and I seen the plus 40. And then I looked on the back and the plus 40 had more vitamins in it. Had a So I'm thinking to myself, well, why would I take less, even if I was young? So I said, listen, even if I'm young, I'm gonna take the plus 40. I'm gonna take why come on. Why would I take the regular one if this one's got more stuff in it? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, they probably feel like you're older, so you need more vitamins. But my thing is this: I need the more vitamins anyway. If I could do it all over again, this would be the one I would take. I'm telling you straight up. I'll take the plus 40. because it had more in it for basically the same amount of money. So why would I get the regular ones? You know what I'm saying? Why would I do that? Seriously. I said, man, listen, I'm not, I'm not, why would, if you put making this more fortified, and that's what it looked like, y'all go look at it and tell me if I'm right. But if I remember correctly, uh, when I looked at it, if I remember correctly, it was more fortified. So I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Let me get the one that's more fortified. Seriously, what y'all think? It has increased doses. So it's like, why wouldn't I want to increase doses? You know what I'm saying, G Ra? I'm like, I want to increase doses then. Those vitamins are expensive. So this is good, ladies, right? You're definitely more right with the more, because the reason I say the more is because when I was in the county jail, I was in there for 4 months, and I was getting a lot of money on my commissary. So I would go down to commissary and I was buying vitamins. So I'm in here, I'm bored. You're supposed to take one a day. I'm taking two vitamins every day. I'm taking two of them. And my nails started growing better. My exercise went really well. I got really strong. So when I got out, I said, of course I was in there exercising a lot. Of course I wasn't dealing with no women, so I'm saving all this testosterone and all that. But I really believed those two multiple vitamins a day increased my stamina, my testosterone, and my strength. So for sure, I never forgot that, because these are just once a day, so it ain't gonna hurt you. So if it's not gonna hurt you and it's more, then it obviously will help you, because it's not gonna be the same. If I'm taking this, I'm taking this. If I take more and it hurts me, yeah. But if I take more and it don't hurt me, then it's obviously better. Because if it was worse, it would hurt me. So my advice, I said to myself, even if I was young, I would take the 40 plus. I would take the 40 plus. Why would I wait till I get 40? You know what I'm saying? But when it comes, like I said, to the iron, when I make my protein shakes, I put a little bit of this in my protein shakes to ensure that I'm getting iron. Now, here's the key to this conversation. If you don't get iron, it's a lot because you don't have vitamin C to absorb the iron. So you got to take your vitamin C in order for your body to absorb, right, the iron. And we have a lot of vitamins in our body already naturally, but we don't have any vitamin C. Vitamin C is the one thing that we have to take. And vitamin C is one of the best vitamins to take. Once again, make sure it's a natural plant based vitamin C. You don't want no chemicals, you don't want no funny stuff. You want it all straight from plants. For your children, brothers and sisters, get plant based, chewable vitamin C. They're going to give it to them every day, especially the children. Give the children that vitamin C every day, especially from fall to spring. You might not got to give it to them in the summer if they're eating a lot of fruit and oranges and stuff. So in the summer, you wouldn't necessarily have to give it to them every day. You might just give it to them twice a week. But soon as the fall comes, as soon as the temperature is going to drop a little bit, that's when give them vitamin C every day. Make them take their vitamin C at least 5 days a week on school days. They don't got to take it on Saturday and Sunday. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, make sure you give your children vitamin C. And make sure you put a little bit of blackstrap molasses in their drink where they can't taste it. Just a little bit. And you only want to give them the blackstrap molasses once a week, maybe twice a week, like Monday and Thursday, to ensure that they have the iron and the vitamin C into their body. And it's very important to make sure that you and your family gets every vitamin into their body, because every vitamin serves a purpose. And many of these vitamins work together. And so if you want to make sure that iron absorbs into your baby's body, you know, give them some fruit with it. Get them some fruit and get them a little drink that got a little bit of that iron in it. And that fruit, strawberries, or make like some lemonade and put a little bit of blackstrap molasses in the lemonade. That way they're getting the vitamin C and iron in one drink, and the lemonade is going to make sure that the iron gets absorbed into the body, because the iron has to be with the vitamin C to increase the iron absorption. It won't absorb without both of them. And so this came out where they did a study on a bunch of vegans and a bunch of other regular people, and they found out that they were all short on iron as far as a percentage of them. It was like 13 or 14% of vegans were low in iron, vegans and vegetarians, and like only about 7% of the meat eaters were short on iron. And the conclusion is because they're not combining it with the vitamin C, which I'm not understanding why there isn't a vitamin C iron tablet. But maybe putting it together early might not work. Sometimes these things have to be happening separately. You know what I'm saying? So if you did have to do them separately, I probably would have my child eat some fruit first, and then I'd probably wait about an hour, and then I would probably give my child the juice with the blackstrap molasses in it. That way, the vitamin C is already in their body, and they're not together. Because sometimes when you put the stuff together, it don't work as well. So sometimes it works better, especially if it's in a drink. Now, if they're eating, it might work excellently if they're eating, but if they're drinking, I'm not sure. But for sure, make sure they get both of them on the same day. And so, even if you're eating a meal that's high in iron, you're not going to necessarily get that iron if you don't have the vitamin C to help your body absorb that iron. That iron's going to just go right through in the waste and it's just going to come out. So, in order to make sure you get iron absorption, you need to eat foods like this that's high in vitamin C. Grapefruits are great. Strawberries are great, especially for children. Oranges, papaya. For the men, definitely Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts is going to increase your stamina and it's going to help you perform better in bed. From my experience, that Brussels sprouts increase your strength, your sexual strength. From my experience. So if you got a hot date, eat some Brussels sprouts early that day. From my experience. So let's look at some more facts. Relationship between vitamin C and iron. Vitamin C and iron are essential nutrients that play crucial roles in maintaining overall health. They have a synergistic relationship, meaning they enhance each other's absorption and utilization in the body. So the vitamin C doesn't only enhance the iron, but the iron also enhances the vitamin C. So they basically both help your body absorb each other. How vitamin C enhances iron absorption. Vitamin C reduces iron from its non absorbable ferric form, which is Fe3 plus, to its absorbable ferrous form, Fe2 plus, in the gastrointestinal tract. It helps create an acidic environment in the stomach, which is favorable for iron absorption. So that just answers my question right there. Eating both of them together will work. Having them both in a meal or having them both within a couple of hours is absolutely fantastic. Vitamin C protects iron from being oxidized and rendered unabsorbable. So, in other words, iron will become oxidized and then it would be unabsorbable. So, for me, from this point on, after I'm studying this, before when I put my blackstrap molasses into my protein drinks, I'm going to make sure that some type of way I've consumed some type of fruit before then rather than after. I wouldn't want to eat no fruit on top of my protein shake, but I wouldn't have no problem with putting the protein shake on top of the fruit. Vitamin C protects iron from being oxidized and rendered unabsorbable. Benefits of consuming vitamin C and iron together: improved iron status. Consuming vitamin C with iron foods or supplements can significantly increase iron absorption and prevent iron deficiency anemia. Enhanced immune function. Iron is essential for red blood cell production, while vitamin C supports the immune system by boosting white blood cell function. So I get it. So these help your white and your red blood cells. It's very interesting. So basically, it's really just excellent for your blood. Reduce oxidative stress. Both vitamin C and iron are antioxidants that help protect cells from damage caused by free radicals. So they both protect your cells. And that's extremely interesting, to be honest with you. And that's why I enjoy learning and reading this right with my audience rather than me look it up and study it and then just quote it back like a teacher. I prefer we all find this out at the same time. And I've been plant based for a long time, but I never paid no attention to that because I always knew that I just got to put everything in my body anyway. My mentality was to put everything in my body anyway, and it's going to automatically be doing good, whether I know it's doing good or not. So I've always just believed in the nutrients in these vegetables and plants, just get them all in your body. Then I wouldn't have to know the details, but it is nice to know the details. Now, food combos that increase iron absorption. So you got spinach and lemon, you got hummus and red pepper, which is you can eat that together. So I'm going to remember that. Chop up some, maybe steam up some red peppers and chop them up into my hummus. Those will go to good together, and I'm killing two birds with one stone. The quinoa with broccoli, okay, that's a good thing to eat together. I could eat some quinoa with some broccoli. You know what I mean? Hummus you can find. A matter of fact, just go to YouTube and search people that make hummus and just get the ingredients and blend it up. It's nothing but blend it up. Just blend it up yourself. It's real easy. I've been seeing sisters making it on Instagram. You just blend it up. It's real simple. I said I was going to start making my own. G-Rod, I said I was going to start making my own because it's going to be fresh. All I think it is some chickpeas blended up with whatever you want to put in it. I said, man, listen, I'm finna stop buying it. I'm finna make my own because at least it'll be fresh and strong. And you can get a whole bunch of it for cheap. And it's cheaper. It's way cheaper, G-Rod. And dark chocolate and berries, which is good to eat together. So every time, I was probably making the dark chocolate with the pomegranate in it, I was getting my iron and my vitamin C without even knowing it. And here's a lot of things that you could use to make sure you get your vitamin C: guava, black currants, which I haven't had black currant. I need to get black currants. What do they taste like? Kiwi, lemon, persimmons, strawberries, oranges, mangoes, passion fruit, blackberries, green chili, parsley, red pepper, which I eat a lot, Broccoli, I eat often. Green pepper, I eat a lot. Cauliflower, I eat a lot. Cabbage, I'm cutting back on the cabbage because they're saying some of the cabbage is made in China and it's kind of plastic. And some of my cabbage been looking kind of plasticky. I ain't gonna lie. Some of my cabbage, I don't know, man. Some of my cabbage, man, I don't know. Y'all the same way? Have y'all noticed your cabbage is a little like plastic? It's just a little hard, funny. It's kind of funny. You can really tell with the white part at the bottom. I don't know. And just over the last couple of weeks, I've been thinking, I don't know about these cabbages. Did y'all know that they taking fruit and stuff and soaking it so that you can get out of season fruits? Did you know that? And they're now advising us not to buy out of season fruits because they've been soaked in this stuff so that they can last like 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. Yeah, they taking them allegedly and soaking them in these big old tubs with all type of chemicals so they won't go bad. Seriously. Iron sharpens iron. I'm telling you, bro, the cabbage is spooking me out a little bit. It looks like plastic. It for sure looks like plastic. And it kind of never wilts. It just gets old like, I don't know. They saying a potato got vitamin C. I never knew that. A sweet potato got vitamin C, which I eat those often, and chili sauce. Right? So, make sure you take this advice, you know what I'm saying, so that you can get your favorite fruits is kiwi and mangoes. My favorite fruits is watermelon, mango, but mango, I can't get good mangoes that often in Chicago, but I do get them. Sometimes Whole Foods get them in the yellow ones, but I can't get the big red Haydens. I can't, those are always hard. Like, I don't know what that is. They probably can't ship them from, the tropics without them going bad, but they can get the yellow ones here. So I get as many of the yellow ones as I can in the springtime and watermelon with the seeds in it. You know what I mean? I like kiwi too, but my favorite is mangoes and watermelon. Are my two favorite. I like the watermelon because how much of it you get, how much it makes me urinate. It seemed like it really cleaned me out. And then I used to go to Alabama where my parents was from, and we would go every summer. And in Uniontown, Alabama, out on the farm, watermelon was lunch. So they only cooked breakfast early and they only cooked supper, dinner, supper. So in the middle of the day, they ate what they ate stuff that was there. So my grandfather would say, "Get you one of them watermelons." He grew the big ones and he grew the little miniature ones. And I was a little boy, he said, "Get you one of them little watermelons." I get it, and he bust it open for me, and I eat it right there. So I grew up where Black Americans, the children ate lunch, but typically we didn't eat lunch. Typically, during the middle of the day, we ate fruit. Your mother always had a bunch of oranges, plums, nectarines, and a bowl full of nuts. And that's what we snacked on when I was growing up. Pecans, walnuts. You come in the house, get a banana. You come in the house and get an orange, and you go back and get another orange. And that's, you know what I'm saying? Now, we didn't grow fruit trees here in Chicago. They would go to the store. Back in those days, G-Ra, the stores back in the 60s and early 70s, the stores were full of fruits and vegetables because it's not that far of a drive from Alabama and Mississippi to Chicago. So they can just load up the trucks and drive, and they could be here the next day if they drive straight through. Let me see. 11 hours via I-65. Right? So you could leave at 8 in the morning and you be here by 7 in the evening. You know what I'm saying? So in those days, G-Ra, when I was growing up, they had just fruit and vegetables like everywhere, piles of them. Over there off of 71st Estate, just the whole side of the freeway on the east side of the freeway was just a fruit and vegetable market, you know? And they just got piles of collard greens, mustard greens, turnip greens, fresh, picked 2 days before, a day before. You know, they could pick that stuff in the morning and be finished picking it by 10 o'clock in the morning. And that stuff could be on the truck and be here by 9 o'clock that evening. So that means the next morning when they open, you getting fresh stuff just picked yesterday. We used to get corn and stuff that was just picked a day or two, brought up directly from trucks. So there was just when I grew up, there was a whole lot of fresh. All the fruit had seeds in it. All the oranges had the thin peels full of seeds, full of juice. Lemons, they didn't have that. They didn't have GMO food back then. All the stuff was 100% natural. And then when we would go to Alabama, and my mother would come back with big bags of peanuts, walnuts, pecans, whole big sacks. They'd be in the closet. We'd be having peanuts from August, and we got peanuts all the way to probably January. You know, just in the closet in a bag. And in those days, they kept fruit on the bowl on the table, so there was always fruit in the house every week, constantly. There was always plums, nectarines, tangerines, oranges. There was always grapes. They would get the green grapes or the purple grapes, mostly the green ones. They all had seeds in them. You always had bananas in the house because they would put them in your cereal. Now they wouldn't. They would. My sister couldn't eat peaches because she was allergic to the fuzz, so they couldn't bring no peaches in the house because the fuzz would break her out. But there was always plenty of peaches everywhere. What they would buy was nectarines. And nectarines was like a peach without the fuzz. So we had plenty of nectarines, tangerines. Fruit was just everywhere. It was just a part of life. You just ate fruit, all day, every day. Fruits and nuts we ate, regularly. I used to eat walnuts and pecans like candy. Yeah, those pecans be little, but uh, I found somebody that's got natural pecans. Let me see if I can find out where they at if I saved them. I found somebody that had pecans. I hope I saved this. I probably don't know where I put it. It doesn't look like I know where I put it, but I found somebody that has pecans. I'm gonna see if I can find it for y'all and give you the fresh, the real pecans. Let me see if I can find it and give it to you all. Here they go. Bam. Found it. I knew I saved it. This way you can get the old school pecans from. This is where you can get the real fresh pecans. Right here at this place, right here, you can get the fresh pecans that you've been longing for at Great Buffalo Pecan Farm. Fresh pecans delivered to your door. Okay? Seriously. And they show you how some of them is dark, and the dark ones is because they're rancid. So the dark ones are rancid. Shout out to Great Buffalo Pecan Farm. I'm about to order some this week. Right? Look at those pecans. You know what I'm saying? I knew they were around because there's a candy shop here in Chicago. Let me show you them. There's a candy store here in Chicago that got the fresh pecans to make their turtles and stuff. I go to this candy store all the time, right? I go to this candy store all the time to get dark chocolate, and it's called the Fudge Pot. So go check out the Fudge Pot on 5232 North Wells if you want to get the best chocolate in the city of Chicago. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No ifs, ands, and buts. The best chocolate in Chicago. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. Trust me, a lot of men end up going here to get chocolate for their lady. You trust me what I'm telling you. This is the spot. The Fudge Pot. And this is where I go get my dark chocolate. Everything is in milk chocolate and dark chocolate. All right. So I go there, and this is where I get my dark chocolate from. don't try not to go that much because I eat the whole box in like 2 days. Then I have to work out while I'm eating it, but it is good for my workout. But it's the best, probably some of the best candy in the country. Very fresh. And they had these pecans in some of their candy. And I was like, where did you get these pecans? And they said they ordered them. So that's when I found out you have to go direct to the farmers to get the fresh pecans. If you get the older pecans, that's a brown, darker brown, those are rancid. Those are rancid. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Henderson. Yeah, they were big and buttery down there. How is the food down there in Alabama now? Because I'm about to try to go down there this year, and me and my cousin we trying to come back with a carload of stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to go down. I'm trying to come back with watermelons, pecans, and all that. But I'm not sure where I would find them at because my grandfather passed away and he don't have a farm anymore. So that's what's going on with that, you all. I just wanted to make you all aware of that because we don't want no iron deficiencies and we don't want no vitamin C deficiencies amongst our people. So if you're going to go plant based, you're going to have to know the science behind it and you're going to have to mimic the way your great grandparents ate and your great great grandparents who didn't eat a lot of animal products because they couldn't afford to just slay all their animals at one time. So when I used to go down to Alabama, you got full on breads and vegetables. And I remember for breakfast, they would have two or three different types of bread. I thought that was unusual. They would have biscuits, they would have this, I think, this flatbread and another bread just for breakfast. And that's how you used to get full back in the 60s. You know, when I was growing up, they didn't really rely on a lot of meat. When I was a kid in the 60s, meat was like the snack on your plate. Meat was not really your food. And so when my mother would give us our plate and we would pick the chicken up, my mother said, put that chicken down and eat your food, which is a very interesting statement. But over the years, they was able to brainwash and bring in more McDonald's and White Castles and all of that. You say you can't find a walnut tree no more. Wow. See what I'm saying? So you could barely find walnuts. I remember we used to have those big old walnuts. Walnuts was always kind of dry, but that was our main staple. Peanuts, pecans, walnuts, and Brazilian nuts, which we had the nutcracker, but you really had to be on something to crack the Brazilian nuts. Those was always the last ones in the bowl. There was always two things always left on the fruit bowl on the kitchen table, and that's Brazilian nuts and that Halloween candy wrapped in the orange and black paper. Oh, oh, man. One of the last things used to be left that nobody wanted to eat. We would go out and trick or treat and we would get all this candy, right? And my mother would look through it to make sure nobody gave us nothing that wasn't no good because you started to have like a lot of weirdos back then. And we would eat all of our candy, all of the main stuff, and then we would just dump all the rest into a big bowl on the kitchen table after we picked out the best pieces that me and my sister want to eat out of our two different baskets. And after, all of that candy is gone, you would go in the kitchen, and the only candy that would be left in the bowl 2 or 3 months after Halloween was this. We would never eat this. Even when we was having a sugar fit, we wouldn't eat these. I don't know why. Nobody would touch those. Those would just be in the bowl. I remember a couple of days being so desperate as a kid, I ate one of them, but that's it, just one. We just showed you how bad the eating is, where we were so desperate for a sugar fix that we would just go ahead and eat one of these. And by the time we eat one, it's hard as a brick. But children can chew anything. Jesus Christ. But these was always the last man standing. Nobody wanted those. Nobody wanted those. So look, you all, take care of your health. This is very important. Send this live to everybody, right? Send this live to everybody. We need everybody to see this live. Support the channel. Hit the Cash App, right? PayPal. And make sure you send this to everybody. This is really a public service announcement, and we want to make sure everybody knows what they have to do to get the vitamin C and the iron into their system. And as we go into this whole new world order, you're going to have to turn it up, y'all. I'm just telling you, if you're going to really be able to make it through these next years in this world and in America, you are definitely going to have to clean up the way you eat. You have no chance if you don't clean up the way you eat, exercise, and watch the news at least every other day. And I'm not talking about the local news, which is cool to watch, but I'm talking about the national news. You're going to have to keep your eye on recalls, because the recalls are really getting ridiculous. I kid you not. There have been so many recalls, okay? I don't know if you all been paying attention, but there was so many recalls over this last 4 or 5 months that they didn't even announce them all. They didn't even announce all the recalls because it was that many. And we really got to find out if we're about to go to the store and buy something that's been recalled. Because it's just happening. I don't know if I'm the only one paying attention a lot. I'm not the only one, but one of the few, I should say. But the recalls are getting ridiculous. And the fertilizer and stuff they're using, they got these big old farms with all these pigs and all these cows and all this pig manure and cow manure. and that water is going down and getting on the lettuce and getting on the vegetables, and the vegetables are becoming contaminated with the contamination from the livestock. How does a lettuce get salmonella? It's getting it from all of the pigs and stuff they're trying to raise. On top of that, you know, the bird flu is getting very serious, very serious. And they got a measles outbreak that's really getting kind of crazy. And they got a measles outbreak that's getting a little bit crazy. And I tell you what I find suspicious. I tell you what I find very suspicious. I kid you not. When I was coming up, they had a thing called chicken pox. And I did a live on the animals and how they be dealing with the animals in the country, right? And so I'm going to do that live again. And when I did a live on these animals, one thing I found out is that these animals get a lot of vaccinations. If the average person knew how many vaccinations that these animals are getting, it would trip you out. And so while checking out that, and I started looking into the chickens, the one thing that I seen that really raised a red flag is these vaccinations that they would be giving the ducks and the chickens and the turkeys. And the vaccination is called fowl pox. So I'm like, wait a minute. If you're giving the animals a fowl pox vaccination, if a chicken get the fowl pox, ain't that the chicken pox? So I start thinking, these people are not telling us. They not telling us everything. So you really got to be paying attention for these recalls right now, y'all. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. Because you might got to get on the phone and warn everybody because the recall might go out while the products is still out there. And the recalls are just, about 4 or 5 years ago, there was a recall every now and then, a recall here and then a recall there. But this past the end of 2024 and the beginning of now, it's just been recall, 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 recall. I can't even keep up with the recalls. You know what I'm saying? I can't even keep up with it. The recalls are ridiculous, y'all. I kid you not. Look, I'm going to look up recall right now. Recall. Look, 8 hours ago, Quaker Oats recall. Quaker Oats, Quaker Oats, Quaker Oats. Look. Granola, recall. Beef talons, recall. 3 days ago, tuna, chicken, recall. Am I tripping, y'all? Is it me? Is it me? That don't sound like a lot. Oats, pancake mix, right? Quaker oats, their pancake mix it look like, right? Then we go down 8 hours ago, granola bars, probably for the same thing, oats, right? But what about beef talon? That ain't got no oats in it. What about canned tuna, chicken? Look, nationwide recalls of canned tuna, chicken, and more to be aware of right now. I don't know what's going on, but I'll tell you this, breadcrumbs, 16,000 pounds, canned tuna, frozen chicken nuggets, milk, 230,000 mini gallons, sausages, 18,000 pounds basically. What y'all think? Y'all don't think that's crazy? That's crazy. Which is even more reason why you got to have your vitamin intake up, because any of us could get a hold of something, something's wrong with it. No matter how healthy we are, we can eat something we got from a store or got off the market. Boom, it's infected with something. Now you're sick. Something's wrong with you. You got to be rushed to the hospital. And the best chance you got is if you already got a strong immunity, you got a high chance of surviving. So, eating right, plant based food with a lot of nutrition, eating right, helps prevent you from getting sick, helps add your natural nutrition to help you to fight sicknesses, and also will help you get well if something does happen. So it has three things it does. It stops you from just committing suicide, eating trash, to where you're just getting overweight, you're just eating a bunch of stuff, and now you got diabetes and all this. You're drinking alcohol back to back, because that's another thing. Once you get into the mentality to take care of yourself, you ain't gonna want to smoke cigarettes. You ain't gonna want to drink every weekend. So that's what eating right does. Then eating right also helps prevent something going wrong, because it's constantly in there protecting you. It's protecting you, and you're also not adding natural stuff that's not good for you. Then the third thing is, just so happen, let's say you are in a bad car accident. Let's say you are have something happen to your body. Well, the more nutrition you've been consuming, the quicker your wounds are going to heal, or you're going to heal. A bunch of candy and cakes and liquor and cigarettes is not going to help you heal no wounds. So, y'all, you know what I'm saying? My daddy used to say, if you know better, you do better. So, eat better. If you're trying to eat better, if you're trying to clean it up, go to www.veganintel.com and get the easiest way to become a vegan. V is for vegan and for victory.
health, and longevity. If you want to consume more plant-based foods, if you want to abstain from junk foods, if you want to consume fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and herbs, and avoid dead flesh, artificial flavors and colorings, sweeteners, anything that is unreal basically, purchase this particular manual, The Easiest Way to Become a Vegan by Pharaoh Ramesses El Aton, who has been a vegan 40 plus years. He will take you step by step on how to abstain from the junk foods, how to abstain from the dead flesh, the chicken, the turkey, the pork, beef, and all sorts of animal products. Purchase this particular manual, The Easiest Way to Become a Vegan, to eat more natural. Remember that the herbs are for the healing of the nations. Let food be your medicine and let medicine be your food. Consume of every fruit-bearing and herb-bearing tree. Unto you it shall be for meat. Purchase this particular manual, The Easiest Way to Become a Vegan by Pharaoh Ramesses El Aton. Peace, health, and longevity.